All right. Letter G. G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. That's right. Now you know and knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe. No, I wasn't a big... I didn't grow up with G.I. Joes. I watched that... What was it called? G.I. Joe Sigma? Or whatever it was called? I don't know. But I never was big on... I had some of the toys. Like, I had a big one. My sister stole to be a boyfriend to her Barbies. But, yeah, yeah, so this came out in 2009. I remember liking this. I don't know. I think I'm one of the only people in the world to say that this is better than the sequel. It's not a bad movie. I'll watch it. I enjoy it. But I just felt like... And I know there are circumstances behind that, but I felt like they disregarded everything from this film because there was some negative towards this. It's okay, we'll forget everything. But I felt like they were trying to make a sequel to this because there are some elements to it. But as soon as The Rock came about, like, okay, get rid of everyone else, make this a movie about The Rock. And that's why I kind of don't like it. I like this film. I like Channing Tatum. I like Marlon Wayans. He's one of my favorite actors out there, you know? I like the story in this film, to be honest. And I like Dennis Quaid as Hawk, for God's sake. Yes, there's too many flashbacks in this movie, but I enjoy it. The story is, the NATO sends a group of military people, military soldiers, to protect some warheads that have nanomites in them, and an evil organization known as Cobra sneaks in, and they try to steal the warheads, but G.I. Joes come in and save the day, and Duke and his friend Ripcord want to join the G.I. Joes to help take down Cobra, not only because they did that, but because the Baroness in this version is Duke's ex-fiancée. A little far with that. And, so, yeah. And McCullen is also the bad guy. And so I was watching this. And there is one thing that I had never caught before. I've seen this movie dozens of times. At least a dozen times. And, you know, there are scenes where when you see like a soldier that's working for Cobra, they zoom in on their neck and there's like a little circle on their neck. And I was always like, what is that supposed to mean? Because I guess I never paid attention enough this time watching it. I guess they inject you with the nanomites to control you? Is that what they were showing? Because I think that's what they were showing. So like the nanomites are in them and they control them, I guess. So, yeah. But, yes. And, yeah. A lot of people point to Marlon Wayans' comedy as one of the reasons why I don't like this. But I like Marlon Wayans, so I think he's fine. And McCullen being a villain is not a twist because they explain his history that this family is known for being called Destro. And you already know that Destro is one of the members of Cobra, so that plot twist doesn't work. And also, they're leading you to believe that McCullen is going to end up being Cobra Commander. But again, you know that Destro is a character that works for Cobra Commander, even though he's given the orders to the guy who ends up being Cobra Commander. And I do like that they link everyone. Like the Baroness is Duke's ex-fiancé in this, and the Cobra Commander is actually the Baroness's younger brother, who supposedly died in an explosion, but he survived. The reasoning behind why he doesn't tell her, like, oh, I discovered something. It's like, oh, so that's enough for you to become a terrorist? I don't know about that, but I also like the flashbacks and the rivalry between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes in this. I used to always get it confused. I thought Snake Eyes was the bad guy and Storm Shadow was the good guy, because Storm Shadow, I think, black. So, and Snake Eyes were black, but it's the other way around. And I like they are. And yeah, the action scenes in this I think are pretty good for the most part, even those accelerator suits. And I do like that line. What do they accelerate? You. I like that. I also like when, it comes full circle, because, Ripcord, Marlon Wayne's character, Ripcord, he's talking about at the beginning of this that he wants to fly, but he never is able to, and at the end of this, he gets to fly a jet, and you have to say in Celtic, Tichain, which is Celtic for fire, to fire the missiles, and he saves the day by hitting one of the missiles very close, and then the Nanomites go into him, and he flies it up into the atmosphere so that it's away from, attacking the White House. That's pretty cool. I don't like that they get arrested in Paris, because if it's like an underground op, the cops should not be involved. Like, the Joes work for the U.S. government, right? So you think they would tell the cops, hey, let our men handle it, but they just show up and they're like, oh, you under arrest, and then they're like, oh, you Hawk shows up and he's like, they agree to let you go on the caveat that you never ever return, and the one French guy's like, never ever, like, okay, and Duke getting captured, like, Duke jumps into the helicopter, whatever, to stop the nanomite thing, to deactivate the nanomites, and all that does is serve for him to get knocked out and captured. And it's like, there was no other way for him to stop it but to jump in there knowing he would get captured. It's just logic, and you have the love interest thing with Ripcord and Scarlet, and they play the whole back and forth, like she doesn't like him, but nobody in the film, she's gonna like him anyway, and they do, but she's not in the next one, so who cares? But, and that's another thing in hindsight, when you'll watch this, knowing about the events of the second film, which I won't fully spoil here, it takes away from it, because it's like, yeah, all this is happening, but because of what happens in the sequel, it doesn't matter. And if the sequel was standalone, that'd be one thing. Because they had to put some of the plot threads from the first one and link it together, tie it up, link it together, it kind of messes with you. And yes, Rex or Cobra Commander, he's Cobra Commander. It's like, okay, that's no surprise. Because we know that Destro is not going to be Cobra Commander. They're heavily hinting he's going to be, but it's a twist so they can reveal that Rex is still alive and that he's going to be Cobra Commander by the end. He gets the helmet, sort of. And, this was directed by Steven Sommers. So you have some Mummy alumnus in this. Adwale Akinoe Akbaji plays one of the G.I. Joes here, and he was in Mummy Returns. Brendan Fraser has a cameo as one of the colonels or something. Arnold Vosloo is, I forget his name, but he's the one that takes the place of the president at the end, which they, like, when the president, who's Jonathan Pryce, by the way, a good actor, not very good in James Bond, but a good actor nonetheless, he's like, this is what this is all about. Wait, so you're telling me that they've been trying to do the nanotechnology and threatening two different places, Moscow and the White House, all as a distraction to swap with the president? That's kind of a lame plan. And especially if you know what goes on in the next one, it's like, okay, I can see that what their plan was. And it's not executed very well in the second one, by the way. But I don't know. This whole film and all the stuff the Nanomites was building to just that, to get your guy, to get Arnold Vosloo to swap places, and you establish a clear his little whistling fetish, so that at the end, when the president does it, you go, ooh, you do the Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, towards the screen, and it's like, yeah, it's very obvious. But guys, I really like this film. I like it much more than the sequel, which I will eventually do at some point in the future. We hear a lot about this, but I do like this film. I think there's good action, I think there's good acting. I think acting from Channing Tatum and Sienna Miller, you can tell that their characters used to be in a relationship and there was love there. Another thing, so Rex dies, which is actually no fault of Duke's, because it was Rex's choice, and Duke, you know, had really nothing to do with it. I don't think he was even there, was he? He was. I don't know. But it's not really his fault. But because he thinks it's his fault because he was supposed to have his back, he takes off, ends his relationship with Anna. Why? It's called, if you're in a relationship, especially if you're going to get married, you talk it out, right? There's some bad decisions in this movie, but overall I think it's not as bad as the decisions made with the second one. So I'm going to say that when it comes to G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, it's pretty good. So that's the letter G in that. Next. Next, we're going to go into the letter H, and it's going to be a big shotgun to the dick. Oh yeah. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.